I should unmute myself. Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Basic Income Rally. Today, we are coming to you live from me in my apartment and also from MacArthur Park, where this phenomenal event is happening from 12 to 3 p.m. today. It is the Rally for Basic Income. So if you are new to this concept, hopefully you've heard about it before, but basically today we are raising awareness about one of the most popular, most important, most incredible opportunities for assistance that our government is capable of giving its people, and that is a guaranteed basic income. These policies have become super popular recently. In Los Angeles, we actually have a child after the pandemic, or during the pandemic, I should say. We folks with children have started to receive monthly payments for their children. It has been super successful, super popular. Left side, right side, everyone is really a big fan of these programs. That program, however, is not permanent. So a couple months ago, we came together to try and demand that these programs that are so popular not only last through the pandemic, but for eternity. So today what we're doing is a little bit more general. This is the Los Angeles Basic Income March. It's actually the third International Basic Income March and the third one in Los Angeles. So we've got community members, elected officials, basic income thought leaders, and recipients of direct cash. They're all joining us to rally today for basic income. They are in MacArthur Park celebrating the progress that they've made and continuing the fight. So we are very excited to be here. In just a few moments, we are going to bring on our live stream from the event. There's some really incredible stuff going on. If you are in the LA area, it actually continues till 3 p.m. and there's tons of really helpful and also really fun things going on there. We've got music and games. There are different booths to help with things like rental assistance, tax prep, legal aid tables, walking you through these different programs, like what I was mentioning before, the child tax credit, Golden State stimulus, all of those great things. So we are, again, I actually don't know if I introduced myself. My name is Caroline Johnson. I am a writer and reporter for Knock LA, which is a journalistic project of Ground Game LA. Ground Game and Knock both have really heavy presences at this event today. We're super excited. Our communities are super excited about this event. So without further ado, I am going to add our live streamer on the ground. So as you can see, I'm going to mute Aiden really quickly because as you can probably hear, things are going crazy over there already. This is the feed of Aiden Dalton. Aiden is a student at Occidental College, and he was interested in universal basic income programs and also wanted to volunteer in the community. So he is helping us out today. We are so grateful. As you can see, he's on the ground in MacArthur Park with this incredible stage, and also you can see people showing up. We've got all these booths, all these kids. This is great. One thing I'll say about, look at that. Yeah. About this event and the one we did over the summer is that they're just so fun. These programs really are a celebration of what a very simple move on the part of the government can do and how that can severely impact people's lives in such a meaningful way. So today we are going to hear from an incredible group of speakers that is going to tell us all about their individual stories, the work they've been doing, and it's going to be so great. So let me actually get some resources for people, because I actually didn't know this march, this particular coalition coming together and doing this march is a nationwide program. So there are marches happening in a couple other cities across the country. And like I said, so much of this fight is just getting people aware of the fact that our government can do this, and so many families really deserve this assistance. So as we all know, we experienced a global pandemic that is continuing to ravage society. And I think we can all remember at the beginning of the pandemic when like the vibe was just like, we're all in this together, we've got each other. And we know this isn't true. Ordinary families are struggling to pay for their essential needs, while the richest they're controlling more wealth than ever. Billionaires are going to space, while their employees, not to, call anyone out in particular, while their employees lack basic benefits like livable wages, paid time off, things like that. So I think we all can agree that this past year has made the economic inequality in our country just so at the forefront. And it's abundantly clear we need to shift our thinking. We need to design a system that works for everyone, specifically those who have been impacted most by the pandemic. So today we are at the 3rd annual Basic Income March. So one of the demands today is that we need leadership to pass federal basic income, which would lead to a healthier, more innovative, more just society. So all of these different groups, all of these different individuals want to come together to create an income floor upon which all of our society members can grow and thrive. And then in turn, this will ensure that our local and national economies can be financially stable. As they like to say, at the basic income, on the basic income team, we are the, let me start this over because this is an important point. We are the economy, so economic recovery must start with us. And yeah, as Aiden is out there in the field, I think it's really, it's just, again, just really crucial to see what a community-driven event this is, and how this isn't just we're not just out here speaking and demanding things of the government. Look at this. We have made this a community event, as I mentioned before. And Aiden, maybe we can take a look at this sign on this table to the right. I know there was, that wasn't the one with the sign, but we've got things like experts helping with rental assistance, helping people navigate these complex forms. I saw there was a sign for Churla, who are incredible immigration activists. So not only is this a demand for a universal basic income, but it's also just the community coming together, giving resources to each other. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is just the overview of the events. We've got food, we've got self-care, childcare, career development, all of these things. And yeah, it looks like they're color-coded. So shout out to the organizers of this event. We've got healthcare, student loans, all of these resources for people. And again, it can all be fun too. We can have balloons and food, and he's muted now, but there is music playing in that area. Let me actually see if we can hear some for a second. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, okay. I can't unmute quite yet, but there's music going on. We will, and again, we are setting the stage right here, giving folks who aren't able to make it in person a little bit of background, but we are going to get into some speakers in just a few minutes. And why don't I actually, let's go over some of the speakers that we're going to hear from today. So we have Kimberly Woods is going to kick it off. Kimberly Woods is a volunteer engagement coordinator with Income Movement, and she lives in San Diego. And she used to be a chef in the service industry. So that's going to be great to hear from her. We've got Rennie Soga, who's a longtime basic income advocate. Oh, and actually is the producer of the first U.S. documentary that explores UBI through personal stories of everyday Americans. I should probably specify UBI, Universal Basic Income. Who knows if we all knew that already. So yeah, we can see people coming in. Then we've got Queen. Queen is a member of Ground Game and an incredible organizer, incredible person. So Queen is going to be sharing some of her stories with us. And then we've actually got Assembly Member Miguel Santiago of the 53rd District. If I remember correctly, the congressman was also at the last rally. So, or as the assembly member rather was at the last rally. So looks like we are getting support and maintaining support. Then we've got Sylvester Ani, another Ground Game member who is also running for Congress in the 38th District of California. Let's see, Amanda Smith. We've got Amanda Smith who received some funds, was a recipient from the pilot of Sylvester's nonprofit or organization, The Love We Don't See. So we've got that. We've got Melissa Pressman, who was also a recipient of a pilot program concerning universal basic income. Oh my gosh, you guys, we have so many good guests. I probably don't even have time to get into all of it before we start. But yeah, if you can see on screen, we have got, I recognize, we've got Power there. So Power is People Organized for West Side Renewal. That is Power and Ground Game are actually sister organizations. Power does incredible work all over the city, connecting community members with different resources. Such incredible organizers there. Oh, we've got a dog. We are doing well. This is a great shot. We've got all these people taking advantage of these, incredible resources. It can be really tough to find, it's one thing to know that these programs exist. It's another thing to figure out how to actually take advantage of them. I know over the summer, we were really pushing folks to let anyone they know who has children know that there is this monthly child check policy from the Biden administration. I believe that's still going on. I believe it's going through December. Of course, it needs to be permanent, but just a reminder that if you are not receiving those payments, you should be, and you deserve to be. So you can always reach out to any of the organizations that have been putting on this event, or me. You can, I don't know, drop it in the comments if you have questions, anything. And speaking of those organizations, I'm actually going to bring back let's see, I'm going to bring this window back just to shout out the organizations who are represented here. So we have got, of course, the Basic Income March. That is what I was talking about with the national organization where these different rallies are happening in different cities. Where else? We've got Inherent Good, Steady, the Gerald Huff Fund for Humanity, Ground Game LA, which I am a member of. We've got Level Up California. I mentioned Power, CCNP, Compton Pledge, ABC, and Churla. So all of these organizations pretty much, cover the overwhelming needs that our society has, and it's just really great to see all of these different organizations come together. So gotta shout out Ground Game and Power organizer John Ma, who is behind a lot of the organizing for this event, for the LA Rally for Basic Income. And we've got sponsorships from Level Up and Humanity and Steady. So thank you so much for all of the organizers for putting on just this great rally. I mean, I love a rally that is one of celebration and fun and games. I know it was really cool. The child tax credit rally was very child focused, as it absolutely should have been. And you know, these are just going to be getting more and more popular, more and more exciting over time, because the momentum is truly building. Like, you know, I never heard of anything like this a couple years ago, and now I'm totally on board. I think that's probably safe to say for like most of a lot of Americans. You know, once you hear that the government has the power to do this type of thing, it's pretty hard to go back to not expecting and getting what we deserve. So Aiden, actually, I was wondering if you might be able to pan back to that orange field thing, and would you happen to know what that was? If you're okay, so these, wow, this is okay. So it looks like this is, you know, as we can see, those are different eviction notices, and this, okay, that changes this visual a lot. So that, I'm assuming this is how many evictions have either happened during the last few months during COVID, when there is a federal moratorium. But as you may know, that has been challenged by the Supreme Court, and it's not guaranteed that that will continue to last. So all of these are little eviction notices, it looks like, and it's kind of like a path through them, which is pretty chilling. But this is a really incredible image, because every one of those orange tickets represents a family. It represents people who have been put out on the street, whether it's from COVID or not, but because of a lack of adequate support. And most of these evictions are truly due to the fact that people have had to, in this pandemic, forego paying their rent to pay for, you know, food. One thing we always like to say, and especially at the beginning of the pandemic, is pay for food, don't pay your rent if it's coming at the expense of feeding you and your family. And there was a lot of consensus on that at the beginning of the pandemic, but as leaders kind of got less, you know, less courageous, there was less momentum perhaps. Honestly, they kind of threw some people under the bus. If you remember a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, Congressmember Cori Bush staged an incredible piece of direct action on the steps of Congress, where she was sleeping outside to protest the eviction moratorium expiring. And that piece of political direct action worked. The Biden administration quickly extended the federal moratorium. As I mentioned, that's not a guarantee that it is going to be upheld by the Supreme Court. So visuals like that and being out here on the ground today and listening today is super important in raising awareness about the fact that there is a looming eviction crisis in this country. And it is going to be maybe the worst housing crisis we have seen in our lifetimes, which is saying a lot. So I really appreciate that visual. At first, I wasn't sure what it was. So thanks, Aiden, for getting us in there. And yeah, we're about 10 minutes away from our program starting. And yeah, oh, just for anyone watching online, you can comment comment in the chat, and if you have any questions, any information you want. I am also would love if people had stories about UBI that they want to share. What would you do with an extra $1,000 in your pocket every month? how would that change your life? What things would you do if you had that, that really necessary bit of support for you and your family? So we might actually be able to get an interview soon. I am going to pop out for just a minute, but keep your eye on the stream. You can see sort of the behind the scenes of what's going on, what is setting up, and I will be back in a moment.
Hello. Now that the music just stopped, we had wonderful music provided on stage, and we're going to actually get an interview with Kimberly. So we're over here setting up, and I don't really know how the audio is doing, but I hope it's okay and legible. So
sounds great. You
Cool.
sound great. I don't know how to do that other than me popping back on, but let's go to this interview with Kimberly. Oh, I'm so excited.
Wait, could you say something again, Kimberly, and make sure we can hear you okay?
Yeah, hi guys. Good to see you. So glad you're joining us on the live stream today. We're about to start our speaking program. It's going to be amazing.
Cool. Everything sounding okay?
It is, yeah. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I don't know how well you can hear me.
I can hear you. Yeah.
You can? Oh, great. Oh my God, this is awesome. So Kimberly, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what brings you here today?
Yeah. So
can we do that same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it as a part of a
together.
larger interview. Here we go. I'm gonna come around.
Oh, amazing.
Got a bunch of cameras
That
here.
media.
This is a good spot.
Yeah. Can we do anything that's less blown out than that? Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, so once again, if you are just tuning in, we're here with Kimberly, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she's doing here today.
Can you just introduce your name?
I'm Kimberly Woods, and I am with Income Movement.
And what are we doing here today?
We are at a basic income rally here in LA, Los Angeles, California, and we are celebrating and building our coalition to continue our advocacy work and drive towards a federal basic income.
And can you tell us a little bit about the lineup today?
Yeah, so we have Assemblymember Miguel Santiago. We have some representatives of the community, great community members, Melissa Pressman and Amanda Smith. We have Sly Oni Jr. from the Love We Don't See coming with us, and a representative from the Compton Pledge as well coming to speak with us. So we're really excited about all of the amazing community members and thought leaders and even an elected official coming out to support us and speak to the community about why they're so passionate about this.
And yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about Income Movement?
Yeah, so Income Movement is a grassroots building organization, and we help to build the bridges between all of the organizations that exist in the coalition for fighting for basic income and economic justice. Our goals are to support the grassroots and volunteers in their advocacy work, and to help connect all of the organizations doing the work.
What are you most excited about for today?
I'm most excited for all the community members being here and enjoying the offerings that we have and getting to know each other and our amazing speaker lineup. Like, I'm very excited about hearing from all of them and understanding what makes them passionate.
I see there's a lot of other organizations here. Like, can you mention some of those organizations and how that all comes together with basic income?
Yeah, so here in LA, there's a lot of energy around basic income at a county and city level. There are three or four mayors in the local area that are part of an organization called Mayors for a Guaranteed Income. And here today, we're kind of building on that momentum that already exists up there in that space, and what's happening with pilot programs and all of that. And we've got Chirla, we've got Alliance for a Better Community here today. We've got Dulce here, we've got music, and we also have Level Up California, we have Ground Game LA, and we also have Power here helping us make an amazing community event that will uplift all of the needs within this community. We also have a great food drive coming up later in the programs, co-sponsored by Council Member Gil. I'm blanking on the last name. Don't use that.
Gil Cedillo.
Council Member Gil Celo's, I believe, office.
And what are you guys fighting for the most right now?
So there, with all the energy happening around the child tax credit, which is essentially a basic income for children and families, we are kind of focusing on advocating for that. It is set to expire at the end of this year, so we have a petition roaming around that has almost 60,000 signatures on it. We're hoping to jump up over that line today, and with all of the activities, with all the marches happening, not only here in LA, but all of the events happening all around the world. We've got 35 or so events happening all around, from Portland to New York to Istanbul. It's everywhere.
And what's next?
So next is making that child tax credit permanent, and then making that jump from not only just for children and families, but for all individuals, and providing that monthly basic income for everyone, so that everyone can start to really have a foothold in their ability to thrive.
That's fantastic. Anything else you wanted to add?
So I always like to talk about the why people fight for basic income and why they're passionate about being in this space. My why is I am a music and art lover, and I want to see all of those amazing artists in every sector of that space be able to contribute all that they can. And that doesn't happen if they're strapped for cash and stressed out and worried about how they're going to make rent for food. And so what I envision for the future is an arts renaissance created and uplifted by a basic income.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, good?
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Why am I always muted? Kimberly, oh my goodness, that was
Do you have any extra questions you want to ask?
wonderful. I think we're good as we get into the speaker program. I mean, I always love to ask people what they would do with an extra, UBI payment per month. But I really love what Kimberly was saying about the arts renaissance. That's something we talk about in Los Angeles a lot, just how really, really hard it is to be able to practice your craft and to really engage with the things you love to do when you have 3-4 jobs and you're struggling to make ends meet. And I've never heard it put this way, why the basic income movement is so important to the arts, but I really can't think of anything else that would contribute to a total renaissance of the arts as much as universal basic income would. So again, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Aiden. We are at the 2021 Rally for Basic Income in MacArthur Park, Los Angeles. We have got an incredible lineup of speakers starting shortly. Looks like a lot of people are still taking advantage of the incredible community booths that are there. As Kimberly was saying, we have representatives from all different organizations concerning housing, the child tax credit, immigration. So this really is a chance to learn more about basic income and support it and demand more from our leaders. But it also is just a really fun community hangout. I wish I were there today, but I'm bringing this to you in your homes because, like we said, this is a national movement. This, there are rallies happening across a couple other cities in the country, and it really is something that people need to know about. Like I said earlier, if you have a child, if you have a family member or friends who have children and they are not getting that child tax credit, they got to get the child tax credit, because the more, you know, and I don't know, this is just me saying stuff, but I imagine that, you know, if the popularity of these programs is not very high, that gives the government reason to just say, oh, well, no one was taking advantage of it, so we got to get rid of it. When really the problem is that a lot of people don't know about these things. So it's really important to spread the word, spread the good news that there could be money available for us each month. And again, something we want everyone to be thinking about during this whole rally is, what would you do with a little extra money in your pocket every month? Would that go towards rent, food? Would it go, as Kimberly was saying, towards being able to sustain your artistic practice? There's so many things that would benefit society if we just had these monthly checks. So as Kimberly was saying, another thing that is happening here today is that there's a free grocery giveaway. That's co-sponsored by Gil Cedillo's office. Gil Cedillo is the council member of Council District 1 in the city of Los Angeles. And as you can see, people are still mixing and mingling. We are getting ready for the speaker portion. And it's going to be great. I am so excited. Basically, how that's going to work is we're going to have, Aiden's going to be out there. We are going to be live streaming these speeches from these incredible community members on this awesome stage. They're getting ready right now. I will be here. The focus is going to be on this speakers, but I'm going to try and collect some of their quotes and things to share with you all. And again, we've got the comment section on YouTube, or if you're watching on Twitch, if people have questions, want to share stories, again, this is really a community-based day. So let's, yeah, I'd love to just, talk a little bit more about the basic. Let me just make sure just the basic income movement. Again, if you're not in Los Angeles, this is a nationwide coalition. So some of the ways that they say to get involved are really just holding these rallies in cities around the country. And again, not only is it a great way to bring notice to the movement and get people in to the sphere of understanding universal basic income, but I just can't stress enough how great of an opportunity it is to get different grassroots organizations together in your community, focusing on what people in your community need. So there have been a lot of really cool rallies like this. This is the third annual one. During the pandemic, there were car and bike parades, street corner protests, and also crowdsourced art installations. And I'm looking at all of the different, oh my gosh, so I'm looking at all the different rallies, and I've been saying nationwide, but this is really happening all over the world. There is a basic income march happening today in, what is this? Australia, in Turkey, Portugal, Sweden. We've got a lot of Canadian ones, Netherlands, Germany, Indonesia. Guys, basic income, it's what all the cool kids are doing. It's what everyone's talking about. It's what we need. It's what we deserve. And we're going to get it. So, as I mentioned, we are getting ready for the speaker program. And looks like things are
The speakers should be
heating up.
going in about 2 to 3 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Aiden.
Maybe a little bit longer. It seems like we're having a little bit of issues with getting some tents up for shade, but around that time frame.
Gotta have shade. How's the weather out there? Is it hot?
It is very hot. I don't think it's particularly hot by LA standards.
Yeah.
But standing in the sun for several hours, I think, got most of the volunteers looking for water.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely stay hydrated. Try and get those. It looks like a lot of tents, but I guess there's a lot of people there. So yeah, stay cool. Also, I'm sure a lot of people are still taking advantage of all the different booths and resources there. It's pretty, you don't often see that where just incredible organizers from different places are really just there to help you navigate the system. It can be really complicated, and it's a great thing to have for communities at all times, really. So if you are watching this and you are not in LA, and you've never seen anything like this in your community, highly recommend going to what website should you go to? So basicincome.march.com has so much information. I'm going to drop that link in the comment section right now, actually, if you want to check that out. It's got the history, the ways they organize, things like that. But what I was just looking at that was really cool is the event map. So this is finding, again, events across the globe.
Hey, real quick, sorry.
Yeah.
I got John here.
We've got John Ma.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me turn up the audio a little bit so I can hear you.
Once again, this is John Ma. He is an organizer with Ground Game Power, Basic Income. He is really doing the thing today. We're excited. You look excited. Tell us what's going on. The one and only John Ma, everyone.
Thank you, Caroline. So nice to hear your voice today. And it is amazing. We're out here in MacArthur Park. And this is the community that we wanted to tackle first with this mission. And, it's a community that has a lot of mixed status families. You probably heard folks talk about this already, or the last time we did an event like this around the child tax credit, how important it is to reach those that the government hasn't figured out how to reach. We have tables doing that all around here, community organizations that specialize in this work. I can name them all right now. You probably met some of them: CCMP, Dulce Oliveira, our immigration lawyer. Over here we have Alliance for Better Community, ABC, and Jlh. They work on immigration and Latino excellence, publishing just now the new Latino scorecard, Latina scorecard. And the point of this all is to try to come to communities where we're welcomed in and to bring the information that we have about what cash programs currently exist, like the rent relief assistance that Power is doing, and also what programs could exist if we were to think more along these lines. The importance of cash to make people healthier and happier, to get their cars repaired, to make it to work, to pay for childcare so they can go back to school, to stay at home with the kids and go back to school, right? These kinds of options.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to be going on stage shortly to introduce everything. They're pointing at me, so I think we're going to get going. And you're
amazing.
So.
John, quickly, what would you do with an extra bit of money in your pocket every month?
I was reflecting on this morning. I really need a dog walker. So if anybody out there actually wants to come and meet my pet Bailey and hang out with us on the weekdays when I'm not always around, that's something that I would love to throw $1,000 a month for.
Yes.
And help some of the folks in our neighborhood who are living unhoused actually do that kind of work.
Amazing.
So that's something that we thought about doing as well. Pooling. What I'd probably realistically do, Caroline, is I would find a couple people like myself and pool the cash together. I'm like a comfortable middle-class person. There's not a lot of stuff that I'm dying to repair or fix, or, I'm not trying to start a business right now, none of those things. But what I could do is get a couple 10, 20 people together, pool that money, and do something really extraordinary.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking about.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, John. We know you have to run, but oh my gosh, I love that.
Thank you,
and
John.
Again, that's super important because, a lot of people think like universal basic income. Oh, but not everyone needs extra money per month. Isn't that, this is where the conversation about means testing comes in, which basically is, figuring out who deserves more money per month. But as John points out, if universal basic income, universal being for everyone, not only will change the lives of people who really need it, but it will change society. Because even those, as John was saying, who are middle class, then they can take that extra step and really go out into the community and use those extra funds that maybe they, were holding on to just in case something happened, and really get engaged in their community. And knowing that you have this monthly consistent support where you can build programs like this dog walking program, which I don't know. I mean, I should probably, my dog is sitting on my lap right now. Sorry. I was just going to let her sit anonymously the whole time. But once John mentioned the dog walking thing, I had to say something. Shout out to Peggy. But I think from John to Kimberly, like all of these answers that people have to what they would do with a little bit extra money each month, just, it really is an act of creativity. And something we say in organizing a lot is that one of the most important things you have to be an organizer is to have an imagination. You have to imagine the world that you want to see, that you want to live in, that you want your family and friends and children to live in. Because if you don't have that power to imagine, it's really hard to build to something beautiful. And so I know that something the basic income movement people are, as we've heard, are always pushing is this idea of give yourself the freedom to imagine what the world could look like. Imagine what it would mean to you and your family. Again, if you're lower class, if you're working class, if you're middle class, if you're upper class, imagine what things in your life would change. And if everyone is given that opportunity, I think it's something truly, truly revolutionary. So here we are again, the rally for basic income. This is so exciting. And we haven't even gotten to the speaker portion yet. I hope that it's cooling off a little bit. I love this big rock we keep looking at. Very cool. MacArthur Park. What a spot. I've actually never been there. Wish I could be there today. Yeah, again, those are those orange, that eviction art installation, which I can't get over. I think it's really, really powerful visually. And as John mentioned, the group Power LA has a booth right now, and that is for the for the rental assistance policy happening in LA. What we were talking about a little bit before in terms of like we have a lot of these programs that people don't know about, and that really is, the fault is on the programs themselves not getting, not having enough outreach and not doing enough to get people knowing about these different programs. But having the tools at your disposal to see these different programs and also have someone helping to walk you through them, nothing compares to that. If people aren't taking advantage of the programs through no fault of their own, again, that's totally on the program's lack of outreach. But, it just gives the government an excuse to not give us what we deserve. So that's why being here today, super, super important. Because we got to fight. We got to have our voices heard. How's it looking out there, Aiden? Yeah.
Still working on getting a speaker set, but I'm here with Chirla, and one of the organizers who's wanted to talk about like some of the stuff that she's doing here just with the event.
Oh, please. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Let's do it.
So let's see. Would you like to ask questions or should I go for it?
Up to you. Go for it. First, let's, who are you and what is Chirla and how is your day going?
Who are you and like what's Chirla and how are you doing today?
Thank you. Chirla is a coalition for humane immigrant rights, and then I am Delia Vegas, regional coordinator, and I am today here giving information to the community about Know Your Rights, and mainly providing the Know Your Rights cards, which is very important for people to know that they have a constitutional right to don't provide any information to anyone until they get an attorney. also, we are helping the community with different services like how to become American citizens. We are helping totally free, no charge at all, and we are helping the community to apply for the visa. You visa. We're helping the community to apply to become an American resident. And providing information about different resources in the community. For example, about housing is key. Is the website apply in order to get resources to pay your rent.
Wow. Yeah. So the Know Your Rights campaign, could you talk a little bit more about why that is something that is really key to your work, and why is that a struggle that people face, not knowing their rights, and what sort of trouble does that cause, and how does this campaign help to combat that?
Okay, very good question, because know your rights basically is that any human being, regardless of the legal status in the country, know about the universal human rights. They can protect themselves from people who are abusive, or the system who is abusive sometimes. Know your rights means that you are aware of those universal rights as a human being. For example, the right to be silent and don't answer any question to any immigration officer in case you have been arrested. You have a right to get an attorney. You have a right to not provide any information at all until you get an attorney. That is a constitutional right and universal right.
Amazing. Yeah. And do you find, so Churla is based in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Correct.
Our main office is in 2533 West 3rd Street, Los Angeles, California, 90059.
Wonderful. And how did you hear about the Universal Basic Income movement, and what brings your organization here today? And how are those two things connected?
Because we are connected, because what Jlh is doing, actually we are focusing in the United States, but human rights and know your rights is a universal issue, It's not an issue for a single country or single state. It's an issue for the whole world. We have to be united. We have to be respected. And that Jlh has a commitment not only with a specific group of people, but with the whole society at all. With the whole society.
Exactly. Yeah, that's wonderful. And as the Universal Basic Income movement, they are nationwide. Do you have allies nationwide as well? I know you're specifically focused on local organizing, but how does your work tie in nationally?
Actually, like 2 years ago, Jlh is working at the national level too. We had an office next to the White House in Washington, D.C. We had an office in Sacramento. We are behind, working with the policy also. We are behind many bills that are going to protect the community. We are not just focusing on a specific group or a specific state or local area, but we are expanding because the need is huge, and the society needs organizations like these organizations that are here right now to be together, to collaborate in order to inform the community about any issue that is affecting the well-being of society.
Yeah. So of the folks you've seen today and you've seen in your work, what is one of the most common issues that people come to Churla for, that they have questions about? And is there anything that, you see time and time again that you just wish most people knew and could take back to their communities to let people know?
Yeah. What I can see in my over 10 years experience working with the communities is the community has lack of information. They are not aware of any resources, and by the time they find out, it's already too late. That is very important to be aware that we have to try to reach those communities and provide the information on time for them, to get those benefits, and not wait to the last minute when sometimes there is nothing to do at all, That's why our commitment is to provide the information for those folks before they are going to jeopardize their family or their economy or their legal status.
Absolutely. And how can people get involved? Let's say there are folks who live in Los Angeles. They understand that immigrant rights are very, very important everywhere in the U.S., but Los Angeles in its own specific way. How can people get involved, not only in Churla, but also just in their communities? How can people who are not facing extreme immigration struggles personally, how can they help you guys, help your movement, help the issues in general?
Yes, there are different ways to collaborate. There are different ways to get involved. For example, one of the ways is to be a volunteer in this organization. there are different fields in our organization to work. For example, you can educate the communities, you can organize the community, you can work behind the policy, behind the bills, you can work on the legal department, and then you can call your senators, your representatives from the comfort of your house. You can get together in the parks, in the public parks in the community. You can provide information. There are different ways, you can participate in different meetings in your neighborhood. You can be aware of what's going on in your community and call your representative. The point is to take action. We have to take action. We cannot be just maybe complaining about it, but we have to move on in order to get attention from those representatives in the government.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And what was your name again?
Grelia Vegas.
So nice to meet you, Grelia. And thank you. Churla does just such incredible work. And thank you for being out here today and every day, I'm sure. Where can people find more information about Churla?
I invited a community, please, to check it out, www.chirla.org. Chirla is spelled CHIRLA.org. Please go to our website and try to communicate with us or contact us. We will be more than happy to help you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It was so nice speaking to you. We
Thank you.
are so grateful for you being here, and we're really excited for a great day. It looks like you've already had some great support. So thank you so much, and thank you, Aiden, for getting us that interview. I love all of the people on the ground. Everyone really brings such a different area of expertise, of knowledge. But as she was saying, it's all about access to information and access to knowledge and really getting involved. We have to get involved, stay involved, and days like this show that it's not only important and necessary, but it can also be really fun and build a lot of community. So super grateful for everyone today. And we're looking back at the stage.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm going to go figure it out. I'll be right back.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
drop
so
the camera for a moment. I'll be back in a moment.
no worries. All right. So we are just waiting on the speaker portion of today's activities. And I started running through some of the people who are who we've got. So we met John already. John, who is running around figuring out everything today. And let's see who else. We've heard from Kimberly Woods, who is from the Income Movement, and we coming up, we've got Rennie Soga, who I mentioned is from Inherent Good, Queen Mendez of Ground Game LA. Then we've got Sylvester Ani Jr., Ground Game member, who is also running for Congress. We've got Amanda Smith. And then we've got so many great people. And that's coming at you shortly. Yeah, I'm just looking at all of this. Like, we are so lucky. So we're gonna take a quick little break just as we get into the speaker program. Hopefully that's coming up soon. Let's see. We've got some comments. We've got some comments on Twitch. We've got Ian in the comments saying he the second march that one of our guests online ever went to was hosted by Churla in MacArthur Park. So they've been doing the work for a long time, and it's just great to see all of these community members out here organizing for basic income, but also all of these different things: immigration, housing, education, the child tax credit. It's all combined, and it's super important to get involved, stay involved. So we have got some incredible speakers coming up. We're going to take a quick break. While we are on that break, I am just going to go back to just our run of show, and so everyone can kind of get a look at what we're doing here. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. And like I said, we're going to get into the speaker program, the speaker portion of the program very soon. You do not want to miss it. I will be right back. All right. Welcome back, folks. We are live at the International Basic Income March. Well, today we are in Los Angeles. But as we've been talking about, this is an international movement. We're about to get started on the speaker program. I keep saying that, speaker portion of our program, which I'm super excited about. Let's check in with Aiden really quickly to see, Aiden, how's it going out there?
Starting now.
Amazing.
We're coming together to celebrate the progress that we've made this past year. And we're coming together to really start building the coalition and bring ourselves forward through this marathon that we find ourselves in, where we are activating each other and bringing each other along to creating equity and economic justice. Thank you so much for being a part of this movement and coming here today. As John said, I am the Volunteer Engagement Coordinator for Income Movement, and as my role, one of the things that I love doing is engaging and having moments with our community members where we can talk about our why. Our why is what drives us. Our why is what brings passion to our movement and brings passion to each other and helps us lift each other up in the moments that seem hard. My why, as John mentioned, has to do with arts and education and access and fairness for all individuals on this earth who are just trying to make ends meet and find a foothold to begin to thrive in their own life and what they can offer to their communities, to their families, and even themselves. So I stand here today really blessed to see all of these faces that I've never met before, all of these faces here that are together celebrating our movement and inspiring each other, and you inspire me. So thank you so much. We've got a great lineup of speakers, Assemblymember Miguel Santiago and Sly Ania Jr. I'm so excited. I'm gonna hand this off to our wonderful MCs, and we are going to get started. And as I said, we are in a marathon, not in a sprint, so stick with us. We will find a way to really, really enact a basic income for all if we just work together. So thank you so much for being here today. I want to introduce Queen and Rennie first. Rennie Soga is a longtime basic income advocate and producer of the first U.S. documentary that explores UBI through personal stories of everyday Americans living in the heartland. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today.
Hello. Thank you, Kimberly and John. And hello, Angelinos. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you don't mind. I might be reading off some of my notes, but yes, as Kimberly has mentioned, I am one of the producers of Inherent Good, which explored basic income, and I've been a longtime advocate and supporter of it. I'm happily joined here by our director, Steve Forrest, who's in their orange vest, working with our videographers today, and Chris Panazon, who our wonderful stage manager. He's one of the producers of Inherent Good. And as Kimberly mentioned, I'm a longtime basic income supporter. And basically, from a personal standpoint, basic income could really, really helped out in some very definitive moments in my life. It could have provided a lifeline in times of when I was in deep economic despair. And I know a lot of you that are joining us today can relate to that, especially during, we've all been going through a pandemic. I know if you're joining us virtually, you can also relate to that. And so the pandemic has really exposed a the fractures and the fissures in our safety net. And, you know, I think basic income can help fill those gaps. And as we've seen with a lot of the organizations here today who have offered some sort of cash assistance to their community members, and how impactful that was. And I think, you know, if right now with families that are receiving the child tax credit, I'm hoping, and a lot of us here are working hard to make that permanent, because we've seen the value of what the CTC can do for our families and our children, and that is an investment in our children, and we need to make sure that we work hard. This is the moment to push that. And so we've immediately lifted 3 million children out of poverty. We can continue to do that. And so, you know, we're here today too to advocate for the permanency of the CTC, which is the child tax credit. We have organizations here who can help you get signed up. If you don't know the pathway to CTC, we have great organizations here that can help you with that. They can also help you with other programs like EITC. We have CalWorks. We have CCMP over here on the right, who can really help you, community members here today, make sure that you're signed up for some of the wonderful programs that are offered for our members. And so I've been rambling, but I just want to say I'm really grateful to be sharing this space with all of you. And we have a lot of hard work to do and to continue into 2022 and onwards. And so it's an honor and a privilege to introduce Queen Mendez, who is a community member, a local member here. And I want to welcome you to the stage. Queen.
A little shorter, so I'm going to just put this down. Hi guys, I'm going to start off with saying my name is Jessica Mendez Higuera. I'm also known as the Queen. And why am I here? I am the daughter of a Mexican. I am the daughter of the people. I've learned so many lessons along my life that have helped me and impulsed me and have transcended me into a point where I am no longer afraid to ask. I am no longer afraid to question. I am no longer afraid to stand up for what my beliefs are, because I am not the only one on the line. My family is on the line. My people are on the line. My community, my heritage, my lineage is on the line. I'm going to go through some basic, quick downs, and then I'm going to give you guys a speech. Yes, I'm going to give you guys a speech. I can give you an endless list of why I was homeless, or why I sometimes didn't have enough money to feed my kids. But that wouldn't help anything, because that wasn't the problem. The solution is finding out a way and asking and figuring out a way. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, but I'm Mexican. It's in my blood to not give up. It's in my heritage and in my lineage to feed my family and my children. And I can tell you many, many more things, but I want to read this speech because maybe that will answer a few of the questions that maybe everybody has. And I'm going to be very simple and plain. I'm 4'9". I'm 4'9". I'm from Mexican descent, and I am proud to say that I'm native to Echo Park. But please, without further ado, I want to read this because I feel like it's something that I've been working on very, very hard, because it's the voice of my people. My name is Jessica Mendez Higuera, also known as the Queen. I am the daughter of an Indian Yaqui from Sonora, a corn vendor. I am the daughter of a Oaxaqueño from Abasolo, Oaxaca, a shoe salesman. I had to learn from a very, very young age that in my time, things like pizza, chicken, or even McDonald's was a luxury. The day of not worrying on how my mother was going to feed us, was going to even get her day without a struggle. But never did she fail. Never did they fail. Never did we fail. I come to you asking you, pleading with you, please get the information that is going to help us as a community to raise our children. I have 5 daughters and 1 granddaughter, beautiful granddaughter. I am proud to say my children have not gone hungry or without shelter. But I have to I had to choose, do we eat or do we pay rent? Can we stay at this time? Or do I decide and make a choice to either pay for my room or feed my family? Because my family isn't just my children. It's my mother, it's my father, it's my nephews and my niece. I had to make a decision. Either do I stay with my family or, like we all do, make a decision to venture on to unknown lands to even have a basic income for our family. I sacrificed time with them. I sacrificed time with my community. Because if I didn't, we would go hungry. I have to wonder, had I had this information, if this was available to me, maybe that wouldn't have been my option. Maybe that wouldn't have been your choice. Sorry. We have information available to us that's being given to us and is being given to our children, to our family. I have to, again, wonder, had I had this information, would that have been my case? I hope and I wish that maybe that isn't your case. But you know what? Above all, I think as a community, we need to stop and we need to lose the fear that has been instilled in us since before we were born. The programs, the help that is out there is by our right. It's ours. It's rightfully ours. All we have to do is ask for it. All we have to do is look for it. All we have to do is lose the fear of being in a system. The system is designed for us to not go forth, to not succeed as mixed status families. And it doesn't have to mean that you're Mexican. It could mean that you're from any part of the country. If you're a mixed status family, then you need this help, because I know I needed it. Maybe I wonder, if I had had this information, had I had this help, I wouldn't have struggled so hard. And my day wouldn't have consisted of deciding whether I pay rent or I buy my kids their uniforms. This income isn't for us. And as mothers, as daughters, I'm asking you guys, I'm pleading with you guys. All you have to do is get close to a table, ask for information, lose that fear. Prove to everyone, prove to the system that we are not just a crack in the system, that we are not just a failure. We are here, and we're here to stay. And we're here to have a voice, and we all have a vote. But what we need to do is stand up for that voice and that vote, and we need to stand up for ourselves. I don't ask you to get this help for yourselves. I ask you to get this help for your children, for your mother, for your father, for your grandparents, because anyone that has a family knows that you just don't count on your immediate family. You count on your children, you count on your parents, and you count on your family. Let's lose this fear and let's overcome all the statistics that have been bringing us down, and let's just go ask. All we need to do is ask. We're not going to lose anything. All we have is but to gain information that will empower our community, and through that we empower our family. All I'm asking you guys to do is come out, just ask a question, ask what they can do for you, because we've done enough for this place. We've worked these fields, we've worked this land, we've worked low payments. I am blessed to say I came out of Echo Park. I was homeless. I had a very bad accident. But you guys want to know what kept me up? You guys did. Every single one of you that shows up to an event like this, you guys made me who I am, and you guys will continue, and this legacy will transcend. But we need to make a legacy for our family. Lose the fear. Get close to a table, get information, because at the end of the day, I think our families deserve it. I think we deserve it. I think our children and as parents, all we want is for them to have a successful future. I want to be able to tell my kids that if they want to be president, God damn it, they can be a president. And I'm proud to say I'm Mexican, but they're from here, and I'm running a little long, but I just want to say that let's lose the fear and let's prove to everyone today that we are not just a number. We're not a statistic. We're not something. We're not a phase. We're here to stay. If anything that pandemic showed me was we are all equal. It doesn't matter if you're rich. It doesn't matter if you're poor. After pandemic, you're just with us. You're right alongside with us. Let's make a voice, let's make a note, and let's make a footprint. Lose the fear, ask for information, and empower your community. Alongside that, empower your family and give them the choice and give them the knowledge that they have a voice. We have a voice, from the littlest child that's playing to the oldest person. We have a voice. Let's empower our community with that voice. Thank you. Oh, with that, I have the very privileged honor to introduce someone that has been working very, very hard. Assembly member Miguel Santiago, who has represented the Assembly District 53 since 2004. DTLA, K-Town, Boyle Heights, Huntington Park, and surrounding areas has been progressively championed from fighting to pass single-payer healthcare, statewide public, and free community college. He is working for the people. Since the pandemic began, he has not let us as he fought to bring food, low-income resident, protect unhoused residents, expand vaccination in hard-hitting communities. Not Beverly Hills, our communities. Protect tenants from evictions and expand healthcare for the transgender, non-conforming, and intersex communities. Let's give, please, a warm and a round of applause to Miguel Santiago, our congressman.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. Now, I'm going to say, first off, that I am absolutely grateful for your ability to come out and push some of these programs. Because at the heart of a progressive movement, and we've all seen this, right? At the heart of a progressive movement is assisting those who have been hit hardest by income inequality. Hands down. Hands down. And when you take a look at what's happened, particularly in our neighborhoods, up and down the state, those who were poor, those who were suffering, those who had a hard time paying for their rent, those who had a hard time feeding their kids, or didn't quite get paid enough at work, were devastated like no other areas. We have seen this up and down the state of California. That's the bad news. Good news is we've got the ability to take some power and fight that. We've got the ability to try to improve people's quality of life. And we've got a heck of a lot of work to do. Rental assistance is just one piece of it. And we could use your help to expand that program. When we proposed a year ago, $5 billion to try to get that rental assistance program up, the legislature wasn't moving on it. And I'm not making this up. Go take a look at it. We did this. The LAO, Legislative Analysis Impartial Body of the Legislature, called us BS and said that it was only $1.7 billion that was going to be needed. We put together a campaign up and down the state and fought extremely hard. And then now the number's about $5.2 billion. Now here's the other thing. We didn't leave people behind. Whether you were undocumented or documented, the monies were written in a way that helps those who are the poorest. 80% AMI and below, with priorities given to 30% and 50% AMI and below. That means the poorest people. Now, is there more work to be done? Absolutely. This is where we ask for engagement from our community partners, from the income movement, to Ground Game LA, to Jlh, who fought extremely hard with us to get the renters assistance, to every organization. I know I'm going to leave a couple out once you start listing names. I'm going to ask for forgiveness now for anybody I left out. But this is where the fight, and Unite here, because I see the shirt, and a lot in the labor movement who fought extremely hard with us. This is where the fight starts now. Let me tell you about what happened during the pandemic in California. Those who were rich got richer. That's not a secret. All the data shows us that. Some people wonder why there was a little bit of more income in the state budget. Wasn't a secret when we looked at it. Those who were rich made a lot more money. And that's why the state budget had more income. So during the pandemic, we saw Bessels get a lot richer, and we saw Musk get a lot richer. And what they did with their money was say, hey, let's go figure out how to go to the moon. what we should have done with that money is let's go figure out how to help people who are poor, who can't pay their rent, can't feed their kids, don't have adequate health care, and can't get a job. Because those priorities were completely twisted. It's not a new thing for us. Not a new thing. So is there a lot more work to do? Absolutely. Right now, we've got a renter's assistance program that we fought extremely hard for in 4 different times. We asked Judicial Council to back an eviction moratorium. We had to let that go because the courts decided, as you guys have seen now at the federal level, that you can't do that. But we fought 3 additional times through legislation because then we changed the law. Basic universal income. This was a fight in the legislature where people thought it would be crazy to help people who are low income. We pushed back extremely hard. Most people don't know, but in California, we put that in the state budget, $35 billion. And that $35 billion goes to address 2 huge crowds that need help. 2 groups of people. Now, we know a lot more that did, but now we can go back and fight for a little bit more because we're able to show that it improved people's quality of life. We fought for foster care children. Yes, because we know that they've gotten left behind. We fought for women who are pregnant in that basic universal income. Now we've got to push our local counties and cities to go after those dollars to include their own programs. Now, it was mentioned earlier, our EITC at the state level. This was a fight about 6 years ago to get it in the state budget because we fought for getting money into people's hands who were poor and needed it. Some of our colleagues fought for tax breaks to wealthy corporations. We won. And today in California, we're able to say that you can get an earned income tax credit if you're low income. But if you have an ITIN number too, this is why we've launched campaigns in the area to do an ITIN number. And an ITIN number means that you're undocumented, but you file your taxes. This is why we do those campaigns for ITIN numbers. So if you're undocumented, we want you to be able to get it. But we need to get you that ITIN number. So we're going to need help there. We said we've done some, but we need a lot more work to go to make sure that this hits the streets where we want it to hit. I'm going to go back a little bit on that rental income program because this is key. This is where we're going to ask you for help. We have walked precincts to do this. We have made phone calls to everyone. Some of our community partners that I've seen, like Kirla, has walked neighborhoods over and over to enroll people. I know Unite here has too, and a bunch of other folks have come out there and knocked on pavement. They've done it with us almost every weekend to make sure that folks enroll. 113,000 people in the city of Los Angeles enrolled on the first go-around. Eligibility process still going through. On the second bunch of money, only 45,000 people have enrolled in the city of Los Angeles. We all know that out of a city of 4 million people, the need is greater than what has enrolled. So we're asking everybody to join us in going door to door, making phone calls, and getting folks enrolled in that program. It's pretty simple. Housing is key. And for 30 minutes to an hour, we would pay 100% of the rent owed for any individual who is 80% AMI and below and who has been impacted by COVID. We don't want the monies left on the table because we think that we can go after additional dollars if other states don't use them. That's why we've been really aggressive about the rental assistance program. So I'll say that again. To the degree that everyone can help, this is free money. The average person gets about $10,000. Some folks are now getting, in the county, in the city of Los Angeles, been about $10,000. In the county, about $16,000. So it's absolutely imperative that we go after these dollars. EITC, the Child Tax Credit, which is a federal program, the rental assistance program, but there's many other programs to the degree we can help. Public banks, I know it was mentioned earlier. Let me tell you why we went after public banks. Let me tell you why we went after public banks. Why we went for them, I should say. Because it was a very basic concept that we looked at very early. And by the way, I'll tell you, it's the only bill in the entire country to have gotten introduced and through a House. And you can fact check that. The only one. Now, there's one moving through New York now. But when we did the first public banks bill, no one thought we'd get it done. In fact, we took on all Wall Street to get this done. We put a coalition of about 200 organizations up and down the state. National organizations chipped in. Even Senator Sanders chipped in and helped us. He tweeted on it. He got his infrastructure to help us, and we got it through. AOC helped us by tweeting once it got to the governor's desk. We had our national revolution, email and mail into districts that were members were moving. We got it done. The only bill with zero lobbyists and all Wall Street lobbyists on the other side. And we beat them. But we did it for one basic reason. Because when a poor person earns $1, that dollar is gouged by every entity and every financial institution. That dollar is not a dollar. It ends up being 40 cents, 50 cents. When a rich person makes money, that money earns money. So we wanted to change a financial institution that works for people and not for corporate interests and not for those who are wealthy only. And we got it done, and we got to help push on Los Angeles. It's getting introduced next week, I think, the motion on the floor, for Los Angeles City to create its own public bank. It's not a radical idea to help poor people. It's not a radical idea to help poor people. It's a very well-sounded idea to do it. And that's why we push on these programs. And that's why I'm glad to be here along. I think I saw our council member, Cedillo here, who also showed up. He's around here somewhere. But I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come. Thank you for partnering on some of the programs that we created and we fought hard for. And I'll say thank you in advance for continuing to push on some of the agenda that helps those who are the poorest in California succeed, whether you are documented or undocumented. That's next year's fight. So I'll call on you guys again, and this time to help us fight that fight. So thank you very much. And Ground Game LA and all the other groups who have done it, Basic Universal Income. And I'm going to stop now because I'm a politician and we're not shy about talking. I'll see you later.
Amazing. Thank you, Assemblymember Santiago. You definitely are walking the walk, and we appreciate you fighting hard for the residents here in LA County. I am really excited to introduce our next speaker. Sylvester Ani Jr. grew up not too far from where I grew up in Cerritos. He's the son of Nigerian immigrants, and he's also running for California's 30th district. And I'm really excited to have you here. I know that you recently launched a nonprofit called The Love You Don't See, and I am a big fan of that. They actually just wrapped up a 6-month guaranteed income pilot program, where I believe you gave maybe $400 a month during those 6 months to those recipients. And we're excited to have you here. It's an honor. So why don't you come up and join us?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I am really, really huge on crowd engagement, so I want you to do something with me right now, okay? So right now what we're going to do is we're going to clap, okay? We're going to clap on my count, and we're not going to stop until I touch the mic, okay? So we're going to go on my count, all right? Now, the reason why I do that is because it grounds me in really remembering that we all here are the heartbeat of the movement. And you have to keep that with you. As soon as y'all stop, everything stops. And I want to keep that with you. So to start off, and thank you for the introduction. Again, my name is Sylvester Andy Jr. And the reason why I'm here speaking to you today is because of what happened with my nonprofit, The Love We Don't See, right? So The Love We Don't See is about highlighting the love we do see in our communities and specifically investing in education, right? Because we understand that education is the key to unlocking the whole world. Now, the specific reason why we're here is universal basic income. We're talking about an investment in people. And the unfortunate thing is, I wish I didn't have to have this conversation with you. Because the fact that I'm having this conversation with you means that we're not getting done what we need to get done. That being said, I wouldn't rather be anywhere else but with you all here today, okay? Because it has to be done. The work has to be done. So during the pandemic, a lot of questions. We all started raising a lot of questions. And we all had to really refigure how we were going to live in society because we never dealt with something that we dealt with to the level of COVID and what it did to people's personal lives, what it did to people's work lives. It affected every single sector of society. During the pandemic, NBA and Olympic stars Drew and Lauren Holiday launched the Jlh Family Fund. And that was investing in Black nonprofits, Black businesses all around the country, because at the time he sat out during the NBA playoffs because his wife was compromised. She had cancer. And he wanted to give back to the community the rest of his salary that year. My nonprofit was one of the nonprofits chosen. And at that time, there was a debate in the country going on between how much money we're going to give people. $1,200. We got the $1,200 check, but after that, it wasn't anything, right? At the time where we got the grant from the Jlh Family Fund was a time where, again, people were enduring so much economic stress from the lack of action from our government. So we decided to say, hey, listen, we can only do so much, but we have to do what we can. People, at the end of the day, need money in their pockets, right? So from there, we start reaching out to different groups, the income movement. We reached out to Steady. I see my man Jason in the crowd right here. Couldn't have done it without him. And that's the thing that I want to keep on circling back to, is that none of us got to where we got to on our own. It takes community. It takes people who believe, who care, and who love and want to see people do better for us to do better. We got to have that. We have to have that understanding, have that grounding. So I never done something like this before. So I started connecting, like I said, I started connecting with Income Movement, with Steady, about how we can structure this program out to really benefit people's lives. So we decided we do a 6-month program. 6-month program, $400 a month. Families who are in need. And we just put it out there. And it was and the unfortunate part about the whole thing is that we couldn't help everybody. Right? But the stories that I heard from the people that we did, that we were able to help, are stories that are going to last with me forever. That relationships that are going to last forever, just because of the bond that was built during that time. And one thing that I want to leave coming as we shift further and further away from the pandemic and we transition, is the questions of what type of society that do we want to live in. That's the question that we have to start asking ourselves, because when I'm dealing with some of the applicants from the program that we launched, why are we living in a society where we live in the richest country in the world and we have parents that can't stay long in food lines because if they stay too long, their gas is going to run out. They're not going to be able to get home and the line is too long. That's the type of society that we're living in, where parents have to decide whether or not they're going to eat that day because their kids have to eat and there isn't enough to go around. That's the type of society that we're living in the richest country in the world. And there's no excuses for it. There's no excuses for it. So honestly, the question of our generation is the same question that Dr. King posed in 1967. And the question Dr. King asked was, where do we go from here? Community or chaos? Two options. When I look out into the crowd today, I see community. I see love. I see the potential of what we could be. And this isn't a handout. And I always want to push back when people say that. This isn't a handout. This is an investment in people. because people matter at the end of the day. And too many, not the people here, but too many have lost sight of that. But that's what we're here to do today, is to refocus that, harness that energy, and invest where we need to invest in. And that's in us. That's in us. So also I want to close out with something. Everybody, I want you to repeat after me. I am. Okay, we gotta wake up, okay? I am who I am because somebody loved me. Let that sit with you for a second. Nobody got to where they got to on their own. We're all products of our environment. Imagine if we took all the money that goes wasted on wars, on hoarding wealth, on redistributing enough so that people had enough to be enough and had the bandwidth to invest in themselves. What type of society that we should live in? And when people push back against that, the question that we have to start asking them is, why are you okay? Why are you okay with that? Why are you okay with someone not meeting their basic needs? Why are you okay with someone not being able to put food on their table? Not anybody that's asking for too much, but somebody who's asking for just enough. So I want you all to keep that with you again. I am who I am because somebody loved me, because I wouldn't be up here on this stage if not for the people who love me. And I'm going to continue sharing that love as we continue to go further and build this movement to where these ideas aren't radical anymore and they're normal. We have the resources to do it. It's all about having the will. So appreciate you all giving me the space to talk to you all today. Continue to invest in each other, continue to love each other, and we're going to really change how this world looks. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvester. Yeah, I love that. I am who I am because somebody loved me, and that would be my mother and my family and my nephew who's behind that camera. So thank you, Sylvester. I look forward to seeing the more impact that you're doing with the community. It's great work. Thank you. So our next speaker, speaking of love, is a mother and three kids, Melissa. She is a child tax credit recipient, and I'd like to read a little bit about her background because it's fascinating. Melissa moved to Los Angeles about 2002. She started a company called She Creates with her business partner, Allison Robertson, and they recently released their first book called Enoughness. I love that title. The Simple Truth to Embracing You. When Melissa, you recently kind of got the political bug, and she's gained a greater understanding of restorative culture, which is why a lot of us are here today. Restorative culture that benefits the community. She's also a volunteer with Mutual Aid Group and Hydrate LA. That's great work. Thank you, Melissa. And when she's not busy raising her boys, she loves cross-stitching, catching up on Real Housewives, guilty pleasure of any city, and a nice glass of rosé, which I think we can all use after this. So let's give a warm welcome to Melissa Pressman.
Thank you. Hello to all you lovely people who are joining us today. My name is Melissa Pressman, and I would like to say thank you to Kimberly for asking me to speak. Thank you, Rennie and Queen, for keeping the show going. And thank you to all the other speakers today for coming out and sharing your story. And thank you to my boys, Nathan, Liam, and Charlie, for giving up their Saturday robot class to come out and support me today. The world is before you, and you need not take it or leave it as it was when you came in. I love this quote from the incomparable James Baldwin. It reminds me of the saying we had in Girl Scouts: leave a place better than when you found it. Granted, that was usually about our campsite, but I have taken that into all aspects of my life. Walking around in the world is always there in the back of my mind. How can I leave this space better? Sometimes it's cleaning up a mess. Sometimes it's offering an ear to listen to someone's needs, or a shoulder to lean on. But as I've gotten older, and especially since becoming a mom, I find myself asking, how do I leave this world better than how I found it? And in the current state of things, I have to be completely honest. I get beyond overwhelmed. There is so much that makes me feel it is impossible to leave the world in a better place. But then I read the quote again. The world is before you, and you need not take it or leave it as it was when you came in. You need not take it as it was when you came in. What makes this quote so beautiful is that it gives you permission to not accept things as they are. As the oldest child of 5, a rule follower, this is hard for me. I have trouble not seeing the institutions and laws already in place as something I need to follow. My inner fear of messing up, getting in trouble, making someone angry takes over, and I sit on my hands, taking the world as it is. I'm ashamed to say that it took the year that we've had to push me to my breaking point, but I am finally able to see that the systems are broken, how the laws are only fair for some, and that the only way to truly make this world better is to put new systems in place that benefit everyone. For me, one of those systems is the child tax credit. I fully support the expanded child tax credit, and it should be permanent. These checks cut child poverty almost in half. Cuts child poverty in half. That is amazing. Why would we stop something that is so effective and beneficial for families? According to Daryl Lorenzo Wellington Jr., families with children suffered substantial economic woes long before the pandemic. The proof is that the United States, one of the richest countries in the world, is consistently listed among the nations with the highest child poverty rates in the industrialized world. That's in part because we spend too little on our social safety net. Some studies say the United States spends proportionately less on public funding than any other country. We can't rely on solutions that help for just today, only to leave people hanging on a thin thread until the next catastrophe. I know for my family, it's allowing us to pay bills owed and not be in a state of constant worry about how we are going to get through this month. Had this been in place when my twins, Charlie and Liam, were born, we probably wouldn't have ended up in the debt we are in now. We would have had that safety net to help cover all the new expenses 2 babies bring into your life. I can even look back at my childhood. We had some tough months, even years. My parents were working multiple jobs and doing all they could. If we had the child tax credit, I think it would have made a world of difference in our lives. There are so many things that I am trying to do now to help create that world I see in my head. And the child tax credit is one that I know will 100% leave this world better than how we found it. I will do all I can to make sure it stays in place and continues to help families from now on, because the world is before me and I need not take it or leave it as it was when I came in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Your story is inspiring, and it's honestly something for us to follow on, a goal that we all want. Really quickly, I just wanted to reflect on a note, and which basically is, as a mother, and I'm reflecting on Melissa's story, what would this CTC tax child credit would have helped me? Well, I could tell you, and I can tell you in 2 generations, it could have helped me be able to provide more of the basic necessities for my family. It could have helped my mother with less nights of me seeing her cry because she didn't know if we were going to make it to the next day. She didn't know if we were going to have 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day. We were lucky to even have 2, and we got school lunch. So just a reflection on that and how this transforms from generation to generation, being a mixed status family. This would have benefited me greatly, greatly in the everyday struggle as a single mother. And with that, I just want to say, like I said it before, let's lose the fear and ask for information. And with that, I have a very, very great, I am very privileged and honored to introduce one of the biggest organizations that has been helping with the Mexican movement since before Cesar Chavez's time. I want to introduce Jlh. And I want to introduce someone that, without me knowing, we actually met before doing canvassing on the streets, because this is how passionate they are. They don't need an event to show the information or to share it. And with great further ado, Grelia Vegas, Regional Field Coordinator for Jlh. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Hello everyone, how are you today? Thank you for being here. My name is Grelia Vegas. Thank you, Qui. Thank you everyone who organized this event. I really appreciate it. Jlh, as you know, is a coalition for humane immigration rights. We are here for more than 10 years to work for our community. We are looking for a just society. But my question to you is, how we can get a just society with 1% of the population control the economy of this country? How? When with 99% we are not getting, we are behind. You know how? By getting the right information on time. By getting together like today. By getting the right information on time. Don't be afraid to get information, because the information is the key, is the knowledge, is access to the light, is access to get those resources, access to get food in your table, access to pay for your rent. Those are universal rights. It's not a privilege to get a roof. It's not a privilege to get food in your table. If you get sick, you must get the right care. Why we have to go to poverty when we get sick, living in the rich country in the world? That information is the key for everyone. I appeal to all of you, regardless of your status, if you are undocumented or not, doesn't matter. You're a human being and you have rights that should be recognized. But guess what? If you are not aware of your rights, there is no way for you to exercise them. For example, you have a right of freedom of speech. You had a right of religion, freedom of religion. You had a right to get together like today. You had a right to have a decent life. You had a right to put food in your table for your kids. You had a right to educate your kids. Like Queen says, why not to become an American president? Why not? We are human beings like everyone else, and we contribute to the economy of this country, our job. Every single one of you, whatever you do, we are contributing to make this country greater and greater. And therefore, we are very important of this country. Don't feel that you are nobody here. Every single one of us, we are contributing for the society to get better and better. Why not us? Please get informed. Please become a volunteer. Doesn't matter you are not American citizen. Doesn't matter you are not resident. Even if you are undocumented, you can do a lot for the society. Maybe not for you, but for your kids, because your kids deserve a better life. They deserve a better society. We deserve a just society for everyone. Thank you very much.
Nuevamente, muchas gracias para Jlh y toda la organización que participó y está participando hoy. Y say that in English. Yet again, thank you so much for Jlh and the organizations that are coming out, and thank you for collaborating and participating with us today. You guys are a key member, part of our program today. So next, I have the very great privilege of introducing Leliana Alonso Maya with Alliance for a Better Community Parents Network. I was gonna go off the bat, but I think this bio is just great. So Leliana currently serves as ABC's program manager, leads their Effective Parent Network program and work with the community members to increase civic engagements through the Parent Advocacy Training Program. In education, ABC's Latin Professional Network, COVID-19 response and recovery programs, and other related programs that align with ABC's mission of improving economic prosperity of the Los Angeles Latino community. She spent 10 years advocating for target populations, including undocumented youth, Latino parents, and young people to have equal access higher to education. Please give a nice warm welcome to Leliana Alonso Maya with Alliance for a Better Community Parent Network. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here today. A little bit about ABC. ABC is a policy and advocacy organization focusing on advancing social, economic, racial equity and justice for the Latino community and the Los Angeles region through power building and policy advocacy. And through one of those power building and advocacy is through our parent network. We have a parent network base of over 400 families across LA County, in particular, mostly centered in the Southeast LA region, San Fernando Valley, and some areas of South LA. But last year, we were privileged and fortunate to be able to receive private funding from the California Immigrant Resilience Fund, in which we were able to provide, and also One Family LA, in which we were able to provide almost $1 million in cash assistance for those impacted the most, including the Latino immigrant community. Immigrant and undocumented. And with the funds from California Immigrant Resilience Fund, we were also able to develop and implement a cash assistance program where 100 families were selected to receive a monthly stipend from the months of June all the way to May, June 2020 to May 2021. And we have here today one of our cash assistance recipients, Rosaura, and also one of our, she's also part of the parent network, and she was a graduate of our parent advocacy training a little bit right before the pandemic started, actually a month before, and she's been wonderful to our organization. And also I wanted to share with you that Alliance for a Better Community recently launched our Latino Scorecard Report, a policy roadmap for transforming Los Angeles, in which we focus in 5 different areas of where the Latino community stands in LA County, including education, health, economic prosperity, public safety, and civic engagement. And our parent leader here, Rosaura, is quoted in our report. And our table is over there, so I encourage you to scan, so you can scan the QR code so you can download our report and be able to read it and check it out. But I won't take any more time. I would really like to introduce you to one of our wonderful parent leaders, Rosaura, who is going to share his story on the impact that our cash assistance program created and why it's important that our leaders help us develop a UBI program that is permanent. Rosaura.
Gracias, Liliana. Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Rosaura Andrade, soy madre líder de ABC y resido en el Valle de San Fernando. El día de hoy quiero certificar por medio de la Alianza de Mejores Comunidades, quien está representado en este día por Liliana, que fui favorecida durante un año con becas de asistencia financiera en respuesta al impacto económico por la pandemia. Tiempo que inicialmente fue de mucho pánico y incertidumbre porque estábamos viviendo algo nuevo, algo que llegó sin avisar. Cuando recibí el aviso que yo calificaba para esta asistencia económica, llegó a mi vida paz, alegría, esperanza, tranquilidad que le pude transmitir a mis hijos y por ende sobrellevar ese difícil momento de desempleo que yo estaba viviendo. Gracias a estos recursos pude adquirir medicinas de emergencia, alimentos frescos para el día, incluso algo de reserva. Y así yo pude atender mejor mi hogar y también cumplir protocolos que la ciudad exigía para evitar propagar el virus y también infectarme, que hasta el día de hoy, gracias a Dios, me he mantenido sana y gracias a ustedes por la ayuda. Además, evitó la angustia y incertidumbre que surge cuando se carece de lo indispensable. Pude dormir tranquila y pude estar lista para desempeñar al siguiente día el papel de madre y padre, como es mi caso. Hoy doy testimonio de lo beneficioso que fue para mí esta ayuda. Por eso pido a los líderes de manera encarecida que hoy es su tiempo. Today is your time, please. Para que creen programas permanentes de mediano y largo plazo y que se incluyan a personas menos favorecidas, a hogares migratorios mixtos, padres y madres solteros. Hoy intercedo por todos ellos, ya que esta ayuda hizo la diferencia en mi vida y en la de mis hijos. Adicionalmente, quiero que hagamos un reto juntos, que con los recursos que nos otorguen, también se proporcionen tutores o especialistas financieros que nos guíen para que se puedan reproducir o invertir de manera más sabia esta semilla y así podamos nosotros estar listos para un mejor futuro. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Rosaura. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Make sure that you download our Latino Scorecard report, and I'll hand it over back to Rainey.
Thank you, Leliana. Ms. Ala. Thank you. So we wanted to quickly just point out that there is a wishing tree that we have up that we would love for everyone here to put up their cards. And I think we're going to read some of the wishes that some of you have already placed up on the tree. But basically the question is like, what would a basic income do for you? Do you want to read it off, Queen?
Yes. So we have one of the wishing trees expectations was we can buy groceries. This is what that basic income means for this family. They can buy groceries to feed their family. We're gonna go on to another one, and it says basically pay for lost rent. So when we talk about basic income, this is what basic income is, the basic. Buying groceries, buying things for the house, and paying your rent. Another one that basically took my heart away was a basic income would mean that I could breathe and really start to live. When we talk about basic, this is what we're talking about. For a family to say that the basic income, which is the right of everyone, and they're saying that basically they can start to live, that's how basic we get, but that's how necessary it is.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, to breathe. And I think, our next speaker that's coming up, she talks about, I love the way she speaks about their guaranteed income program. She talks about breathing and building, and that really, really sticks to me and speaks to me. So our next wonderful speaker, and it's an honor because they have one of the largest guaranteed income pilot programs running right now. I'm Jamara Hayner from Compton Pledge. And Compton Pledge is a 2-year income pilot program that's in place right now for the city of Compton that's been providing 800 families since this spring a guaranteed income. And the pledge, can you hear me now? The pledge was spearheaded by Compton Mayor, who we love, Aja Brown, and is led by the Fund for Guaranteed Income, and is proud to be a member of the Mayors for Guaranteed Income Communities of Practice. Jamara has worked at the intersection of community and politics for 15 years, supporting leaders like our Vice President Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, Barbara Lee, and the list goes on. I'd love to welcome and a big warm applause for Jamara.
Jamara!
Woo! Oh my gosh, this is amazing. You guys are beautiful. I mean, just look at this community. This is so beautiful. I have the best job. I get to actually make this happen in communication with so many people in Compton, outside of Compton, across the country. And it is such a blessing to be able to be here to say this is happening, right? This isn't something where in so many other parts of the country, in California, we're thinking about it. In Compton, it's happening. How many people here know Compton, have a friend in Compton, been to Compton? There we go, awesome. So Compton is such a beautiful city. A lot of people who don't know Compton from a lot of media images, the way they like to talk about people that look like me and look like a lot of you, right? That it must just be this awful place where it's just gangs and drugs and crime, and it must be so awful. And we get to say, you know what, you're wrong. Respectfully, you are so wrong because it is so beautiful, and let me show you why. And now Guaranteed Income gets to be a part of that story. So I could talk a lot about how we did it, what it feels like, but I actually want to tell you guys a story instead. A big part of what we've been doing in Compton and what is part of this national movement for guaranteed income is being led by, rooted in the community. So our first meeting when we decided to just do this about this time last year was with our community advisory council, and we have students, we have faith leaders, we have teachers, and we wanted to center this not in like big policy talk, big political talk, but what this feels like. So we actually, and this comes from a conversation that we had with someone as we were talking about this program. And this one very wealthy person, whose name I won't mention, said, $600 a month, that's nothing. What does $600 even do? That's a drop in the bucket. That's nothing for a family. Who even needs $600 a month? Who here has needed $600 a month in their life, right? Me, very much so. Like, what would have made all the difference? And if not for you, maybe for one of your students, maybe for a neighbor, I promise you, for someone that you don't know needs that $600 a month, and it looks like everything's fine from the outside. But one thing is America that we're really, really good at is making poverty invisible, because it is uncomfortable, it is unpleasant, kind of kills our vibe to have to acknowledge that someone living two doors down from you, or your brother or your grandmother, is that close to losing their home, having to move, not having to stay in the same school district, so many things. So we have this community meeting for the first time to start this. And rather than talk about all of the research and the data and the amazing things you've been hearing about today, we had everyone center and ask themselves that question. If you feel comfortable in this space or just thinking about it privately, remember that time of what it couldn't feel like. And that might have been yesterday, it might have been the 30th day of last month, it might have been 30 years ago, where $600 would have meant everything to you. Think about what it remembers when you go, right, when you're in line at the grocery store and you hand them over your debit card and you just honestly do not know if that thing is going to go through, and yet you have to make dinner for the rest of the week. Like, remember that feeling? And sometimes it's emergencies. One time I was somewhere unsafe and I needed money to be able to move to somewhere safe. And I didn't have that money, and that was so scary. That was so, so scary. So we recentered everyone in those moments, and for everyone that moment is really, really personal, and you never have to share it, but staying rooted in not just the policy need, but that feeling, the feeling of not being able to breathe, right? Like, you cannot breathe, whether it is standing in line at the cashier and you're two people up and you're just praying, or you don't know if you stay somewhere unsafe, or you ask your friends and family for money to get out of there. So you cannot even begin to breathe. And we don't just talk about the financial impact. It is so great that people can finally move from 2 part-time jobs maybe to a full-time job because they're able to breathe a little bit at the end of the month, or they can promise their kid that they're going to go back to the same school in the fall as they left in the spring, because you don't have to move 2 or 3 times over the summer, so you're going to be in the same district. So before you can even talk about all of those things, though, it's just that moment when you're able to actually breathe before you can even start to build. So that is one of the intersections for me. That this is an economic movement, but it is also very much a health movement. It is an emotional health, a mental health movement. It is a community movement. And that's why it's so urgent right now, right? People that look like all of us here and people that cannot be here today are dying because of what poverty does to us, to our bodies, to our neighborhoods, to our children. And then the last thing that I just want to say really quickly before we get out of here, before I turn on to the another amazing speakers, is that our big fear, one of the many things we were worried about as we're getting this started, because there are a lot of things you worry about when you're figuring out how to run a big program like this. I was terrified. Our whole amazing team did not sleep for weeks. But one thing that we worried about was, we raised as much money as we could for 800 families. There are a lot more than 800 families in the city of Compton. And how much is that going to create tension, animosity within the community for someone who gets it completely randomly and someone else who doesn't get it, who's just as deserving? And we were so nervous and we were so wrong, because what we find again and again and again is people say, listen, I didn't get it, but my cousin got it, the girl who works next to me at the salon got it, someone at my church got it, and I'm so happy for them and I'm so proud of my city. So to see us, all of us, show up in community like that for each other, not in a competitive way, because we're breaking out of the mindset of this zero sum. If I have something, then it means you can't have it, or if you get something, it means I don't have anything, right? Instead, I can say, I am so happy for this person I know or someone I don't even know, to say just like, I get to be part of a community where I know that my neighbor gets to stay in their house and I know that they can afford dinner tonight. So guaranteed income is amazing. The income is like just one tiny part of it. So as you guys go on this journey, I'm so happy for you to get to see the way that the community grows and becomes so much more beautiful, because our communities are beautiful already. Our neighbors, our bodies are beautiful already. And we just get to become, through that breathing, more of ourselves. So happy to be here with you. So excited for everyone who's going to get to go with this. It is scary. It is possible. It is doable. Come down to Compton. We'll show you. So thank you guys so much. And thank you to the organizers. This is a big thing you put on, and it's just a blessing to be able to be here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Basically hit a lot of home points that mean a lot to us. I just wanted to quickly announce we are having food distribution to your right now. If you have not got a red ticket or a ticket, we have them at the check-in little canopy right here in the front. She's waving her hand right up there. We have a ticket which will basically give you a basic necessity grocery. So please, guys, get in line for that, or come up, and that's going on as we speak right now. And without further ado, I'm going to pass it to my beautiful co-host, MC Renee.
Thank you. We'll keep this wonderful speakers flowing. And our next speaker, Jason Flack, he's the Director of Partnerships at Steady, and Steady is one of our amazing our sponsors today to make this all possible. So really appreciate that, Jason. He's the Director of Partnerships at Steady app. It's Jason leads the impact arm of the organization, is responsible for overseeing more than 25 universal basic income cash assistance programs. Wow. And Steady also offers and serves as the technical infrastructure for those programs. And so they're helping identify those in need of cash assistance and distributing the funds directly to those recipients. And they're also doing the important job of measuring the impact of those funds on those recipients' financial lives. So that data is really critical for, if we want to make this, a national federal policy, we need that data. And we need to know how the cash is impacting people's lives directly. So Steady is a free app that helps freelancers and gig workers create steady income flows and provides their community members with an array of critical services around financial education, telemedicine, I believe, but an array of services, not just creating income stability for gig workers. It goes beyond that. So why don't you come up stage, Jason? And a warm welcome for Jason Flack.
Thanks so much. Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, thank you all so much for having me. I want to thank all of the organizers and attendees of the Basic Income March today. It truly is amazing to see the progress that we've seen over the last year and seeing what this March looked like last year, where it is today. My name is Jason Flack. I'm the Director of Partnerships at Steady. We are today helping about 4 million American workers, 1099 and hourly workers, increase their income through data. And we also are we have about 25 UBI programs that are running through our platform, more programs than any other technology platform in the country today. And so when I tell you that the data shows that cash assistance works, I hope you can take my word for it. Steady is indicative of where the U.S. is today when they view income. We were started about 3 years ago, and we wanted to use technology to allow workers to string together various forms of income to allow them to work a full week's work, because we saw that workers were being kicked out of the workplace due to automation. There was a massive underemployment in the U.S. where workers were being employed, but they were only getting 20 hours a week and they were getting minimum wage, which I don't have to tell you is no way to live, let alone support your family. So when COVID hit, that premise was pretty much blown out the window. We realized the problem of income is a much, much larger problem for American workers today. So what we did was we used cash assistance as a means to help our workers. And we ended up giving away over $4 million to Steady members who had seen their income drop to zero overnight. And the data that we saw was pretty remarkable. We actually saw, for those that received the funds, we saw a 41% increase in income over the following 3 months, which, as I don't have to tell you, is absolutely remarkable compared to those that didn't receive funds and unfortunately, did not see that kind of growth. For us at Steady, this problem just shows that earning a livable wage for workers today is not feasible. There needs to be a basic income for workers to allow themselves to live, support their family, get food on the table, pay their rent, mortgage without having to struggle. Because working 4 or 5 jobs and still having to struggle to do those necessary things is just not right. So Steady is going to continue to be here. We're going to continue to be the #1 distribution platform for UBI, work with policymakers to deliver the data to back UBI and show that it really is where America needs to be tomorrow. And I'm lucky enough today to have one of our recipients with us who's going to tell us a little bit more about her experience receiving UBI, and so you can hear it in first person. Thanks so much.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. My name is Chef Daniela, and I had just moved here right when the pandemic hit from New York. And I'm a chef, and I'm a private chef, caterer, and I also have sickle cell. So when COVID came, I literally couldn't do no gig or freelance work. And my online bank that I bank with partnered with Steady, and that's how we even found out about this program. And I applied, got accepted, and it just came at such perfect timing because, like I said, due to having sickle cell, I couldn't do any gig or freelance work, and I was in the process of releasing my own line of sauces and spices. So this Universal Basic Income program really launched my spices and my sauces. And I actually just got my sauces launched into Walmart online about 2 weeks ago. So due to this program, really jump-started my brand. And just was another stream of income because, like I said, if I can't really do catering and any private chef work or working in too close contact with people, I at least can sell my sauces through now both my website and now Walmart. So this was great. I really want to thank Jason and Steady and Kimberly and everyone else that invited me up to speak because this was great and I'm so appreciative. It was 3 payments of $800 that just came out of nowhere. I didn't know anything about it until I got the email, and the fact that I was accepted for it was just a great blessing. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. As you can see, it definitely benefited me, and I know it could benefit so many other people. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You hit a lot of home points. At this point, I think it's me and Rennie. Yes, we are. Oh, yes. I wanted to introduce someone very, very great and someone very inspiring. Her name is Madison Williams. Madison Williams is a single mother of 2 children who has experienced homelessness and is active in Alexandria House, a transitional residence of the hospitality. They prove safe and supportive housing for women and children in the process for moving emergency shelter to densely populated and ethnically diverse Mid-Wilshire area of Los Angeles. They also serve the broad neighborhood community, providing educational and enrichment opportunities for their neighbor as well as the residents. Also, I want to add, they also added a community refrigerator not too long ago, which is benefiting the whole community, which means you can go pick up groceries and you don't have to pay for them. So that's a new program that they had it, and I am very, very, very proud to introduce Madison Williams. Please, a warm round of applause.
Hi, I'm Madison Williams. I'm a 33-year-old single mom of 2. I have, as you said, I have faced homelessness. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I was married, divorced, and my 13-year-old has mental health issues. I'm here to explain about the child tax credit and how it's helped me deal with all of that. Being a single mom is hard. I know most of you single parents know that. Being a regular mom is hard, right? Being any parent is hard. Mom, grandma, you know? And the child tax credit, I feel like it's just an investment in our kids' future to help us help them. Being active at the Alexandria House, which houses women and children, and seeing these last 3 payments, how that's changed a lot of the women. There are a lot of women that finally save up enough to move out, but then they move out into an empty apartment. You know, this tax credit was able to get a couple of people beds for them and their kids instead of sleeping on the floor. They're in their new house, but they're sleeping on the floor. Or just put in their bank account to save up so that they can start looking for housing. Or to get work clothes so they can go try to find some work. So for me, that really helped me. I co-own a dance company. I have my cheer and dance program in 4 different schools in 2 parks. And I was in talks with Beverly Hills Middle School. And then the pandemic hit and everything shut down. So I had nothing. I was back to square one, almost trying to survive, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my kids, plus living with a mentally ill 13-year-old who just had everything taken away from her. And I didn't have the resources to get her the help that she needed because there was no income coming in. So I found ways to make a little money. I took some of my dance equipment and my tumbling mats and I tied it up to my car and I drove around to the parks and I did all that. But then in July 13th, my car broke down. So I couldn't work. But the tax credit came in July 15th. So I have been able to make a lot more money because you really can't make money if you don't have money. If you don't have money, you can't make money. It's crazy. But I'm just here to say I'm pushing, and I hope that you guys are pushing for this, and you know the importance of getting this child tax credit year long. So that's it.
Awesome. We have one saying in the Homes Guarantee Bill, which is the people that are closest to the problem are closest to the solution. With that, so I want to ask my co-MC a quick question, which is, how would your biography have changed if you had had a basic income while you were raising your kids?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my biography. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, as a single mom, unexpected single mom in severe debt right out of college. And with no family in town. I had moved to the Bay Area and I had no family in town. Very supportive family, but I think, there would have been moments of whether I didn't have to get run out to get, a payday loan, and then worry about paying that off and then wondering if I could make rent, or do you pay rent, or do you pay for your car repairs? Because obviously that comes up as well. So this juggling game, it's constant, it's chronic, and it just caused a lot of anxiety, and you can't focus on anything. It wasn't until I was at least financially stable was I able to start to do work like this. And it's kind of emotional because it was a tough time and I could have really used a basic income. And it's why I fight for it. Yeah.
Yes.
This is why.
Woo! I want to say one quick thing. It takes a lot of strength and a lot of valor for everyone that came up here to open themselves up and to share this and to make it transparent. Because as human beings,
we are not used to being so vulnerable. So for everyone that came up here and shared their story, I want to say thank you. Yes, it takes a great deal of strength. For everyone that's doing the canvassing, for everybody that's doing the tables out here, for everybody that's just helping out, give the food. God, like, I'm seeing this line and I want to cry.
Yeah.
I want to cry because this is what we need. And this is not only for this family, we need it for the whole country. And I'll answer that question as well. What would it have meant if I had this basic income? And I can only come down to one thing. I could have been able to keep going to school. I dropped out 3 months after going to 9th grade because I got pregnant when I was 15. So I had to make a decision whether I go on with my life or I have this child having a child, which is me. I could have continued school. I don't regret for a minute what I've done, but had I had this help when it was needed, I would not have found myself in domestic violence situations, being subjected to someone else's rules, being told I couldn't go to school when I was 15 instead of having the support that I have now. So it would have meant me achieving what I've achieved a lot quicker and giving my kids a stable home instead of seeing where we're gonna sleep. So I honestly, that's what it would have meant to me. To have this basic income would have meant I would have been able to go to school without having to worry if I had to pay tuition, if I had to pay the babysitter, or if I had anyone to help me or bother anyone to take care of my kids. And with that, I just want to say, please, people, like, all we need to do is lose that fear and get close to a table and just ask, what do you have available for us? What do you have available for our children? What do you have available for our community? Because maybe it doesn't benefit us right away, but we have a neighbor, we have a friend, we have a mother, we have a sister, we have anyone that can benefit from these problems. All we have to do is lose the fear. The information's there. The people are there, and we're here to help you. Lose the fear and go and ask, because we're not going to lose anything. And with that, I just want to say once again, thank you for all the orgs that are here. And I have honestly, and I'm going to say this, the greatest pleasure and privilege and honor of all times of introducing someone that has been a backbone to this organization, to this event. Why? Because we saw something, he saw something that we both went through. We are from mixed status families, we are from low income families, and I have the great privilege and honor of introducing John Ma, who is one of our main organizers in this event, and without him, none of this would have been possible. I would not be here if it had not been for his strength. John, thank you.
Thank you, Queenie. All right, folks, it's been a long afternoon. How are you all feeling? Woo! Make sure you grab some groceries for your household. We got a lot. Thank you to Councilmember Miguel Santiago and for CCNP for providing the dried goods. Thank you to Mutual Aid LA for providing the fresh produce. Get in line, grab your ticket, make sure you feed your family. Folks, I don't have anything to add here. This has been powerful. I just want to say thank you for coming out. What we are seeing here in LA right now is monumental change. The largest county-run basic income pilot about to kick off. Not only that, you heard Jamara speak about the largest city-run, Compton Pledge, already in motion. That is about to be eclipsed, folks, by the LA City pilot, serving 3,000 Angelinos $1,000 a month for a year. We have West Hollywood, we have Santa Monica, we have Long Beach in motion, right? LA is the epicenter of the basic income movement. All eyes on us. Here's the question. Where do we go from here? As much as we love Assemblymember Miguel Santiago and the other folks, between you and I as an organizer for Ground Game, we know that our politicians are not always leaders. More often, they are followers. They are people who see what is coming and they get ahead of it and they move with alacrity, with charisma, in the case of our friend, Mr. Santiago, as always. However, they will only move as far as we push them to move. We know that. We are here today because the Stockton mayor, Michael Tubbs, who is now in Angelino, moved our country forward with his Stockton pilot, the basic income pilot. He showed the world that poverty is not a lack of character, it is a lack of cash, pure and simple. You give the families, the individuals, the cash, they can move forward. They can fix their cars, they can get to work, all the things we talked about, They've run up to the finish line that Michael Tubbs set out for us a year and a half ago. And it's not clear whether they'll move past that finish line. It's not clear whether they were gonna go beyond where we already are. Sure, the biggest pilot. It's still only thousands of us. We live in a county of 10 million. What are we gonna do next? LA, I ask you to think about what it would look like to have a universal infant allowance as our first baby step. Prenatal, 6 months to 1 year, the most important time of any person's life, the time when a dollar stretches the furthest, right? We could fund that with a couple low hundred millions, right? Less than the police budget by far, just a little bit above what they defunded last time, right? What if we had a universal child allowance, 6 years, 12 years, 17 years, like we're seeing with the child tax credit? These are feasible policies, right? These are mathematically possible futures for us. So let's make it happen. Let's make it happen in LA. Let's make it happen in other counties in California. Let's make it happen statewide. And pretty soon we're gonna get that federal UBI we've all been dreaming about. So let's figure it out, folks. It's up to us. We can do this.
All right, guys. We'd like to just thank everyone. We'd like to thank Income Movement, Kimberly Woods. We'd like to thank John Ma for Ground Game LA for just putting all of this together. I know it just takes a lot. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and so we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you, our fearless organizers. You're amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Let's give them a round of applause. What
Yeah.
we do is for the community. We work for the community, by the community, because of you. And with that, Renee, do you want to?
Yeah, we have some asks while you're still here. If you can, we've been talking about the child tax credit. If you believe that we need to make that permanent, please sign the petition at the check-in. There's at the check-in table. You'll see our wonderful volunteers are wearing neon vests. There's a QR code there. Go ahead, scan that, and then sign the petition. We definitely need to, continue our work towards expanding and making the child tax credit permanent, because that is a basic income for families. And that's happening right now, and we can make that happen. We can continue to ensure that families are taken care of in this way. But do you have any final words, Ms. Kimberly Woods?
I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being here today. It has been incredible to see your faces out here gathered together, and that wishing tree is like filling up. So I'm very excited to read those, and I feel so blessed in this moment. So thank you so much for making this what it is, for being a part of this movement and continuing to just believe in the possibilities that we can create together. So have a wonderful day. John, do you have any final words, thoughts?
Thank you, and see you next time. Just getting started.
We're just getting started. So join us for our next event. We will probably be doing an inherent goods screening in the fall. So make sure you're signed in at the signed up to join the movement and stay in touch with us, because we'd love to invite you and welcome you into more events like these in the future. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, guys, one final words that we kind of want to say is first and above and foremost, thank you guys for being here and participating, donating your time. I want to give a quick shout out to all the tables that are here, which is CCMP, Jlh, ABC. We have our organization, which
income organization, and then we also have Power and Ground Game on that side, and we have a couple of more orgs that are, you know, here. And also one thing that I wanted to shout out, we have a great person, which is Dulce Oliveras. She's our immigration lawyer, and she's sitting right there, which she is also giving free immigration consultations for any questions that you guys might have. And I want to shout out to her because she's been with us since we started doing not only this project, but way from Holland back, way back from Mar Vista and San Fernando. Also, I want to share with you guys one thing. If you guys look behind you, where you see all those little orange kind of flags, those are eviction notices. Those are notices that families and members have gotten because we don't have, or they did not have the information for the basic income. Take a look at that, because that, for every one of those little sticks on the floor, is a family. It's children, it's people that are in the face getting threatened or facing eviction. So one of those things that we kind of, I forgot to mention, but that's what maybe the difference when we asked Renee, the difference what this CTC income basic would have meant to us. Imagine what it would have meant to those families. Maybe they wouldn't be out there with an eviction notice had they had this help. And once again, I just want to give a great shout out to everyone that came out. It took a lot of valor. It took a lot of strength to come out and be so transparent. But I think our community deserves it. And you guys are all you guys are great. You guys are brave, and we are a community. And to all our orgs and Rennie, I just want to say, goddamn, thank you. Because I was so nervous and she held it back. Woo! John, I want to say thank you because you have been my backbone to everything we've been doing. Kim, oh my God, this woman works so hard, even when we're like, she's not supposed to be working, and so does everybody else. But I just want to say thank you to all the orgs that are passing out the food right now, that are giving the consultations, that are here, are, you know, wonderful, like music director right here.
Thank
Give
you.
a shout out to that, and everyone else that's here. Just everyone else, God, thank you. Thank you for your support and your hard work. And like I said, it doesn't take anything except just to ask and lose that fear. I think we're above that and beyond that. All right, guys. We want to close it out?
So this is what community looks like.
This is what community
Go
looks
back
like.
to your orgs.
All right,
Spread the word.
guys. So we're going to end up our program with this and just saying this is what community is, this is what community looks like, and this is what a heart looks like. Thank you all for everyone that came out and participated. Give yourselves a round of applause. Woo!
Oh my goodness.
We're having, yet again, a reminder, food distribution to your right. Please, we still have a bunch of tickets and we still have a bunch of food.
We are just finishing up on the ground at the 2021 Rally for Basic Income. You can still see the community dispersing after those incredible speeches as we showed you before. And as they mentioned, there's so many other activities going on the ground right now other than those incredible speeches. So if you were lucky enough to be there today, I wish I could have been there, even though all of those incredible people, like, their words just came through so well. Every time, this is now my second time helping to host an event focused on universal basic income. And every time I'm more and more stunned and emotional and reminded of how important and really all-encompassing programs like this are. It's hard to even capture just how meaningful these programs already have been for so many people and what it could mean for so many more. So we're wrapping up here. I just want to, really hammer home a couple things that I found really powerful about some of the speakers. And going back to Queen, make sure you are taking advantage of these programs. There are programs in existence out there, the rental assistance, the child tax credit. And as Assemblymember Santiago was saying, and kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier, is that there's the potential for more money from these programs if we get more people involved, if we get more of our community members involved. So do not be shy about seeking out the information and the resources. Other than that, we really have to push these programs further. So some of them already exist, but the work now is pushing them further, and that means pushing your electeds. As John Ma mentioned at the end, we've got some politicians on our side, but never enough. It's never enough, and it's never strong enough. So we need to be adamant that we want these programs and we want them permanent. As was mentioned at the end of the speech program, sign the petition to make the child tax credit permanent. I have put that link in the comments on Twitch and YouTube. Please sign on to that. I think they said they have 60,000 signatures already, and we need more. I think a big theme for me of this whole day was the idea that we have to believe in the possibilities of our communities. This movement is just getting started. It's really exciting to be here, and I'm so grateful as Aiden looks at all the incredible artwork that was happening today. This is for our community, and as John Ma mentioned, we are just getting started. We will see you next time. Thank you so much to everyone who was able to join today. I hope you got just as much out of this as I do. I'm always, again, just so shocked at how members of our community are able to get up there and with such passion talk about the things that not only they need or could have needed in the past, but the things that they deserve, because we deserve these things. Do not be afraid to take advantage of what is ours. I think Sylvester had a great point earlier where he said, this isn't a handout, this is an investment. Again, some other things that people were pointing out, we have to overcome the statistics that bring us down and gain information that will help and empower our communities. Again, no one should have to choose whether to eat or pay rent, and these programs are what is going to make that choice non-existent. I'm loving looking at all these visuals as the tables are being broken down. It's been a long day out there, but want to thank everyone involved in this, everyone watching, and a big thank you to Aiden. Thank you so much for being on the ground. We heard everything excellently, saw everything great. And thank you so much for your hard work.
Thank you for everyone who showed up to the stream. Thank you for your help on narration. I'm going to drop off and go help clean up now.
Absolutely. Yes. Sounds good. Thank you so much. And that is it from me. And as John Ma said, I'll see you at the next one. Have a great Saturday, everyone.